broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 89 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, fellas?
Good. Did we just get a new intro?
No, there's no new intro yet.
Teaser.
Yeah, teaser for the future that we're gonna have a new intro. Yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, it's not even really gonna be new. It's gonna be the same intro, just a little different. So
sometimes Tom just goes rogue.
I do. I mean, but to be fair, when I told you about this, you said you didn't care. So
That's true. That is true.
So anyway, everyone will just have to wait and see. I'm not ready to unveil that one yet. But so what's going on, guys? How's everything going?
Should be somebody famous. What if we got somebody from The Mandalorian to do the intro? See, I think that's what it should have been.
What? Someone famous?
Yeah, somebody famous to do.
How the heck am I going to get somebody famous to do it?
I can get somebody famous. Yeah, do we need somebody from Disney? We should have gotten Alex Hirsch to do the intro. Could you imagine that?
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. But I mean, but then we'd have to. Yeah, but we have to change the intro. Like he's not going to do our Jungle Cruise intro.
No, but really, you would pass that up?
do you know that, Tom?
I mean, I guess he could. It's possible. He could do he could do the skipper.
I just spoke with Matt Braley. That's who actually the amphibia guy. We could have had him do. We could have had him do Sprig. Does the intro. I mean, you can't really pass those up. So while I appreciate what Tom's trying to do, if we get anybody famous, we're gonna have to shelve whatever Tom does. Unfortunately,
I'm just saying we could change the we could change.
We should have Winnie the Pooh. We talked to Jim Cummings. We should have had Winnie the Pooh intro.
Yeah, we didn't have time to do like a recording session with him. Plus, we didn't really have good quality connection. It was over the phone. You know, I need high quality here. Okay,
we'll get better at these things.
Yeah. That's right, Trevor. So I'm just saying, like, what if we replace the voice in the opening, you know, with Grunkle Stan's voice? Then we could. I'll do that. You know, if he says the same thing in that voice, that'd be amazing.
He could say whatever he wants. If he's going to give us an intro, we would be using his intro.
Yeah, fair enough. So I wanted to start off today because I had a update on the contract I bought like months ago now. I thought it was an interesting one because I was not expecting this, and I just got an email about it. And so I think I told everybody, I think I told you guys, and I think I told the podcast audience that, I bought a contract that was pretty stripped down. There were no 2020 points. There were no 2021 points. So the first points were going to come in 2022. Well, and I also found out that I could not close, even though I put an offer in on, I don't know, probably back in April, maybe. For this contract that I couldn't close until September. And that was because the people that were selling the contract had a trip planned, and so they were using their 2021 points for that trip. Well, turns out they canceled their trip. So now their 100 points that they had were using are going back into the 2021 use year and are now coming to me when I buy this contract, which is kind of great. I just all of a sudden got 100 points I wasn't going to have otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's unfortunate they had to cancel their trip, but hey, free points.
That's what I'm saying. Well, and here's the thing, though. So they're not really free because part of the deal was that I wasn't going to have to pay for next year's dues, right? They were going to pay for next year's dues because they already used the points. Well, now I got to pay for next year's dues. But I mean, still, I bought the contract at a little bit of a lower, a point price per dollar per point, right? Because it was stripped down. And so now I'm just, getting the benefit of having those points for next year and also paying that lower price that I got to pay. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I'll take that. Yeah. So now I've got a ridiculous amount of points for next year and I don't know what to do with all of them. Hopefully take a trip. Hopefully that's obviously the hope. So
yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to give an update on that. I was pretty psyched about that.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So we had a listener, Sara, write in, and she wrote a very lengthy email. And so I appreciate all of the detail that you gave, Sara. Really, really detailed email about her trip that she just took. But she gave me kind of like at the end some like bullet points. And Sarah, I would love to read your entire email on the show, but I feel like it would take a while. It's a very detailed email, which is great. I appreciate you giving me all the detail. But what I decided to do instead is use your bullet points at the end of just kind of some of the different things here. So I don't know if you guys want to read these since I just did a bunch of talking. If you want to go
sure.
through.
So Sarah just went on a trip, and so she says a few takeaways from the trip. First of all, she ended up deciding that she's going to go in September with the kids and the grandparents. The seriousness with which Disney is approaching safety, social distancing, and cleanliness is outstanding. We felt safe the whole time, more safe than at her job, which she goes to every day, and or at the grocery store, or around her community. So she found that her experience at Disney obviously was very, they were very well organized. She also notes that there's no way that a 3-year-old will keep her mask on all day. So she decided that when she goes, she's going to keep her park visits short and do the rides that she really wants to do. And then the plan is to go back to the resort and take a break and, so basically she took this first trip and she's kind of figured out that she's going to take another trip in September, and but it's going to be different because obviously taking a lot more breaks at the hotel versus doing the open to close at the park. Her next point is that she's going to try and do more meals in her room. She's going to be spending her time at Old Key West, and if she's not ordering food at Old Key West, she says she's actually going to be taking her own car and not relying on Disney transportation, which I think that's a fair point. Like, I know that they've been really good about, the way the buses operate, keeping social distancing and everything. But there is also the factor of when do buses show up and when do,
I've heard the transportation situation has not been great. That's like the one thing that's been a little rough. It's long waits for transportation. Yeah.
And the last thing that she noted was that food and retail options are limited. And she goes on to say, if you see something you want, buy it. She said, I saw the perfect gift for my daughter in a gift shop, something that I've been looking for her birthday. And I said, if it's at the gift shop, it'll be at the gift shop at the boardwalk. That gift shop's huge. And so kind of like how, I think we've all done that is you see something in one of the shops and you're like, oh, I'll find it later. And then you never see it again. So, it does
seem like the options for food and for retail are starting to open up more. They're just doing it slowly, right? They're just opening things a little bit at a time. Because I've been seeing, this restaurant's opening, that restaurant's starting to open. It's just happening slowly.
Right. And again, her takeaway is things are still limited, and don't assume that, you'll be able to get back somewhere to buy something, and don't assume that all the retail shops are open, that you'll be able to just get what you want at any given moment. It's not like it was, before all of this where, there's 20 different gift shops and they all were carrying similar merchandise. We're not back at that point yet. So, I think that's some good takeaways, some interesting observations of, you do have to really treat Disney differently now when you're going. So, and obviously Sara is doing that. She's made some notes from the trip that she took, and she's going to adjust her plans when she goes in September, which, I think that's a great point of view on how we have to treat things now with, our Disney trips.
Yeah, we appreciate you writing in, Sarah, and giving that detailed review of your trip. And like I said, I can't read the whole thing, but I appreciate you breaking it out into a couple different takeaways, going forward. So thank you for taking the time to write that, and we appreciate it. All right, so let's do some listener questions. Maybe we can get Damon back and wake him up or something.
I'm here.
Yeah.
So how about Bobby asks if you could trade your DVC home for another resort straight up, what would you choose? I don't know who wants to go first.
I don't think I care enough. I mean, maybe Riviera.
Oh, there you go.
Just because, right? Because again, there was that question of what's going to happen in a few years with Riviera on resale, right? Is that what that was on the message board? And it's interesting thought process because you're right. If resale Riviera means they can only stay at Riviera, then Riviera is going to be hard to get.
I mean, it could definitely be challenging. Yeah, I could see that.
I feel if I was to trade mine, the only other resort I would probably trade for right now would be the Grand Californian.
Okay, that's interesting. I would. Sorry, did you want to say something else, Trevor? I apologize.
Well, just yeah. I know it's like going East Coast to West Coast, but
no, it makes sense though. You're closer to the West Coast, so
yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I would probably trade my Bay Lake contract for a Copper Creek contract. That's probably what I would do.
Interesting.
Why do you say that?
Well, I feel, again, just for my preference, I would take Bay Lake over Copper Creek.
Well, so it's more because you're saying because of like the short walk to Magic Kingdom, or
I mean, location wise, it's more ideal to me.
we've only stayed at Bay Lake once, and it was nice. Don't get me wrong. It's just not really our style as much, and we just really we like Wilderness Lodge a lot, and Wilderness Lodge is probably our favorite. And we're still a short boat ride away. Sure, it's not the same as a 10-minute walk into Magic Kingdom, but we still we still think it's worth it to be a short boat ride away, and we actually kind of like the boat ride. Even though it's still you have to get on transportation, it is a nice little trip over there. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah. You want to read Mary's or
Damon? So Mary asks, if all DVC resorts had the same resale restrictions as Riviera, what resort would you buy resale, and how many points would be enough?
That's a tough question. I don't know. You want to go first on this, Trevor? Have you thought this one through?
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this, and sorry, I mean, my first answer is, well, I've already got points at the Poly, and that's where I want to stay. So, I mean, I guess if it was those restrictions, I would just buy a Poly contract, and enough points would be I guess around 125 points, because that's enough for me to stay there for a full week during lower seasons. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I would go with, even though I just said Copper Creek, Copper Creek would be up there. But I actually like my Animal Kingdom points. We enjoy Animal Kingdom as well. Quite a bit. So and we've stayed there probably more than we've stayed at any other resort. So I would go with, I think I'm going with Animal Kingdom Lodge or Animal Kingdom Villas. And I think I'd be okay with that. And as far as points go, I've always said, and I know there's a lot of people that disagree with this, but me personally, if I'm going to stay at Animal Kingdom, I want to have a Savannah view. That's just, I feel like that's for me. I want to do that. I've had a parking lot view before. It's kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, I've got a young daughter. She likes to go out on the porch and wave at the animals and point at them and stuff like that. So to me, that's worth the extra. So keep with that in mind, I'd say I'd probably want 200 points there. So I could always get a Savannah view and maybe like a 1-bedroom. All right, so we got Jody wrote in activities that DVC members can do that they don't know about.
So I'm back. I don't get to answer that now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I didn't know you were back, David.
I wrote back. Wow.
I wasn't. I was looking.
You're too focused.
Too focused, man. Go ahead. What's your answer?
I don't know. I have to read the question now again, right? They had the same resale restrictions. Which would you buy resale? Dude, I just don't care enough. I just would stay at Saratoga with everything. Like, it wouldn't even matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. If I want to go to a resort, I just go eat there. Like, and how many points would be enough? I don't know. I mean, that's a very loaded question. I mean, how many kids are my kids going to have? I don't know. Right? I mean, I'd want enough points that I could go with my whole family and their kids. So whatever that equals out to be.
Got it.
I was going to say, I feel like, even if there's restrictions, Damon would still somehow get, whatever booking he wanted at whatever resort.
That's right. Yeah.
It's about not caring. Like, once you care, it's too hard. If you don't care, then it just comes through. It's just a life. It's a life thing.
It's that weird when you don't want it, it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Jody asks activities that DVC members can do that they don't know about.
Right now, not a lot.
Yeah, there's not a ton. I mean, I think one of the ones is that I don't even know if they're doing it anymore. They're probably not doing it now, but there was that Soren behind the scenes tour that was DVC exclusive. That was a thing. But that was impossible to get into because it only took like 15 people and it was only once a week. And I tried so many times to get that tour and I could never make it happen.
Stuff on the cruise. I mean, there's definitely DVC member stuff on the cruise for sure. A lot more on the cruise, I think, than in the parks.
Oh, there you go. There's also there's a DVC member special in the spas. That's something to know. Not everybody knows that. So like if you're a DVC member, there's all sorts of extra stuff they give you if you do like a spa pack.
Why do I feel like neither one of you have been to a spa?
I've been to a spa.
Yeah,
no, to the DVC spa?
Oh, no,
to the
I've
Disney
been
spa?
to Disney,
No, never
That's
to
what
a
I'm saying.
Disney spa. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like...
I mean, have you been there, Damon? Have you done it?
Of course. Why would I not have?
What did you get done at the spa?
Oh, I get a massage every week anyway. I mean, pre-COVID.
Gotcha,
Pre-COVID.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I went to the Grand Floridian and rocked the spa there. It was pretty good.
Yeah, my wife has been to the Grand Floridian one, and we've also been to the Saratoga one too, because the Saratoga one's like the DVC one, right?
Yeah,
it's Saratoga, but yeah, there's some extra stuff you can get at the if you tell them you're a DVC member. There's some extra stuff, plus discounts, of course, right? So,
yep.
Trying to think of any other exclusive DVC things besides like Top of the World, of course. Going to Top of the World.
Hope people would know about those.
You'd hope so.
Yeah. I mean, Top of the World and the Lounge. I think those are pretty obvious. Looking on the website, there's a couple of things at Wilderness Lodge. There's actually an animation 101 workshop that you can do.
Oh yeah, we did know about that. That would
be cool. Cake decorating as well. So,
yeah, the cake decorating seemed like it was expensive for what it was, but yeah.
But again, it is an option that, a lot of DVC people maybe don't necessarily know about.
I felt like we've talked about both of them, but I agree.
I think we have, yeah.
We have, but again, yeah, I feel they're kind of a little out there. Also, I just noticed there's a mixology workshop at Alani, if you happen to go to Alani.
All right.
Yeah.
Mixology? That sounds like fun. If you can get to Alani. I think Alani's still closed. but
it is, but
yeah.
But again,
when that reopens.
Yeah, I guess the thing is if you so a lot of people don't know this, but if you go to the DVC website, there is a whole section on member benefits and member exclusives. So it's good to check that out every once in a while, because even like me looking at this now, there was a couple of things that have popped up on here that I wasn't aware of before. Oh. Like, hey, you can do beverage tasting at Napa Rose Lounge in the Grand Californian. I don't know if that was there before.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 years ago, we did. They used to do like a big holiday party every year in December. We did that one year. That was cool. I don't think they do that anymore, though. I think they stopped doing that a couple of years ago. But yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff out there if you look for it. But there's not a lot of stuff that's like super exclusive to DVC though.
Other than, like Moonlight Magic and stuff.
Yeah, Moonlight Magic, of course. Yeah, everyone knows that one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'd hope everybody knows that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this last question here is specifically for Trevor from Dan, who Dan likes to give us a weird question every week, which I actually appreciate because I like a random weird question, and he's creative with it every week, so I give him credit for that. So, Trevor, this one's all you.
Yeah, so Dan asks if I can explain all-dressed chips. He says, I've had them and enjoy them. I just don't fully understand what the flavor is and why Canadian people love them so. I don't think I can answer that last part either, because all-dressed chips are definitely not 100% loved by everybody. Even my wife doesn't like them. I don't know why, but so the flavor is it sounds like they're putting all the different flavors onto it, but really it's, I believe most, or like, I think every company kind of does their own take on it, but there's definitely salt and vinegar, onion and red pepper, I think are the main flavors, or at least on the all dressed chips I get. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I like them because like, I like salt and vinegar, but it's like that next level of salt and vinegar. And maybe that's part of it is, I don't know. I guess when I was, and you guys can correct me on this, but you know, when I'm down in Florida, I have a hard time finding salt and vinegar chips sometimes. I don't know why. Are they not popular?
I don't know I think, you know, Americans like salt and vinegar. I mean, we see those sometimes, but
yeah, I feel like it's a lot more prevalent up here, or at least it's like I can always find it. And then yeah, again, further to that is Aldris chips are just, yeah, they're like a staple flavor around here.
Have you had those, Damon?
Yeah, I was just thinking that those new, you know, what's been actually really good is those new vegetarian pork rind things. I think they're called like Pig Out or something. I want to say we did them on our other podcast, but they are really good. And they just introduced a salt and vinegar flavor. So much better than some chips. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're good. So yeah, so I've been out of the chip game for a while. Too much fat.
No, that's
Try to stay healthy if I got to, scooter 26 miles.
Do a scooter marathon. Okay, so let's move on to DVC updates. So we had talked I don't know, a couple weeks ago, a couple podcasts ago. There's been some rumors that the Reflections Resort has been canceled. Now it's been removed from the D23 announcements page retroactively. So they literally went back to the announcement that they made and edited it so that it removed mention of this resort. Which I don't necessarily think it means all that much, personally. I don't think it means for sure that it's done or that it's canceled. I mean, maybe it means that it's on hold, but I do think it's funny that they would take the time to do that. I mean, this wouldn't be the first thing that Disney has announced later to scrap and just not tell anybody that they scrapped it. That's happened many, many, many times over the years.
I get why they did that too. Like, because I guess the way I look at it too, have you looked at anything else like Space 220 at any of the information they have on that?
I'm so annoyed that Space 220 is still not open yet. So I'm like trying to avoid it existing. Although I did see that they're doing some work on it. So it seems like they're still doing work. They were like painting the exterior and like, getting it ready for like landscaping and stuff. So it does seem like an opening is imminent there, but we've heard nothing for a while.
But again, the point is their promotional stuff. If they know that it's not coming, if they don't have a definitive timeline, they don't want to put that out there and set an expectation. So I get why they would take it off the website if they don't know when it's going to happen, because it's a weird thing. I see this all the time with just, dealing with different websites, dealing with different companies, is that people get into a mentality where when it's posted on a website, it's treated as if it's set in stone. And there's almost a mentality of, well, you promised that it was coming now or soon or whatever. Right. So, sometimes they do have to go back and change these things just so that it sets an expectation for people to, not be banging on the door going, when are you going to let me in? So I get that.
I feel like this happens every year with Top of the World too, right? Like last year at the end of the year, it said, it said on the DVC website that, something about the time period of which you can access Top of the World, and the ending date was 12/31 of, I think 2019 is when this was. And it was just like, okay, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be available next year. It just means they haven't updated the website yet. Like, can we all calm down? Because I remember everybody in all the groups and everything were freaking out. Like, oh, they're closing Top of the World. It's like, no, they just haven't updated the website. Like, can we calm down? But yeah, to your point, that's kind of what you're saying there, is that if you don't update the website, then people still think it's, going to happen.
Yeah. And I'm not holding out that this is, done at this point. Like, I I don't think that they've canceled Reflections. I just think that it's, I think it's going to be a couple of years before we see it now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would say it's definitely on pause until things recover, and maybe they can come up with a better name in the meantime. Well, maybe they're stuck on that one. What's that?
Shady Pines.
Shady Pines.
for all the Golden Girls fans out there.
There you go. There you go. So the other piece of DVC news I wanted to bring up was Disney has now resumed right of first refusal buybacks. So if you follow that type of thing, and those that don't know, for those that out there, when you're buying a resale contract, Disney has the right of first refusal, so they have the ability to buy it back without you, purchasing it, essentially. Buy it from you. Not from you, from the seller, but buy it out from under you, essentially. So anytime you buy a resale contract, it has to go through right of first refusal first. Disney can choose to buy back that contract if they want, and then you don't get the contract. Now, for the past couple months, though, they've been not doing any buybacks. And all of a sudden, randomly, the past week, they've started buybacks again. So, and it looks like Grand Floridian, Saratoga Springs, and Old Key West have been the ones that they've been buying back. Yeah, so far.
I'm wondering if. So I actually did try to contact DVC about a week ago, and found that that their sales center is closed at the moment, or that was the automatic reply back that I got, and so I feel that if they're starting to open this back up, I'm suspecting that they're probably opening up their sales center again, and they're probably looking at fulfilling some requests that they've had outstanding. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Is that they probably have some stuff that's been pending since at least March, and they're probably. I wouldn't be surprised if for the next little while there is a lot more buybacks, because they're just trying to fill those. Fill those requests. Yeah.
It's a good point. All right, well, let's go ahead and do our ad. So we've got DVC Resale Market this week. Our friends over at DVC Resale. DVC Resale Market is the leader in the DVC resale industry, with 11 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 2 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days, and nearly 3,000 contracts were sold in 2019 alone. So go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 1-844-382-7767. Let them know that Welcome Home sent you. That is very important. Please let them know that you heard about them from us. We really appreciate that. Again, that's dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. I mean, listen, the contract I was just talking about in the beginning of the show, I bought through them. They've been great. They sent me an email right away when they found out that those owners had canceled those points, and they explained everything to me. Said, listen, those points are going to go back in 2021. You'll have access to them. It's not going to cost you extra, just the dues for next year. And they were very quick and very, very easy to deal with on this. So please check them out. They're good friends of the show, and have been a great sponsor to us over the years. So. All right. You guys want to talk about this EPCOT fountain?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So we saw we saw some things. They talked to D23, about some of the EPCOT plans. And one of the things was the new fountain that they're going to install. And they've just installed it. They've installed these gigantic lucite pylons that are, I think they said they're how much? 4,000 pounds each. Did you see that?
Ooh. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Don't want to get crushed by those.
Yeah.
No.
No climbing.
They're not moving when, I don't care what kind of hurricane's coming through, those are not going anywhere.
No. I would assume that they've got them anchored down pretty well.
Yeah.
But they're super cool. I mean, did you guys see these things? I mean, they're clear, and they got a cool, almost like a rainbowy effect to them. I don't know what you would call it, but...
Prismatic.
What's that?
Prismatic.
Oh, there you go. Prismatic. I like it. And then they're stamped with the old EPCOT logo, which is super cool.
which is now the new, or well,
which is now the new Epcot.
They brought back the old, so it's the current Epcot logo. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw I watched the. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's I don't know if it's stamped or if it looks like it's like in the like or it goes how
is it on the edges or is it inside?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
tell.
You mean like is it carved into the front or is it within the? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't.
I
really
gotta
tell
imagine it should be inside. That way it would be easier for upkeep, right?
I think
Yeah.
it might. Oh, I think it's inside. It's so hard to tell from the pictures.
Yeah, I really hope that like these look amazing, and I hope that they can keep them looking like this for a long time.
Yeah, that is the problem, right? This lucite can scratch easy, can get a little foggy. I'm sure Disney knows what they're doing, as always.
As usual. I think they
Yeah.
probably have a good handle on this. What they say, they used the 3 acrylic pylons standing over 16 feet tall and weighing more than 4,000 pounds were digitally modeled, then milled and polished using state-of-the-art technology to achieve a perfect finish and amazing reflection effect. That's what they said.
I hope they have a good coating on them to, yeah, like Damon said, those things, they will get scratched up if, yeah. I just hope that they...
Who's going to be the first person to climb them? That's really the problem.
That's really the question, is who's going to climb up there. I mean, the fountain below, it's pretty large, though. I mean, it'd be kind of tough to get there.
You're underestimating people.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm underestimating the stupidity of human beings. I'm sorry. You're right. I apologize. Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Who is going to be the first one? There's also, I saw there's an aerial view of this too. I mean, it's a pretty large fountain. It's like it used to look, but I mean, these things are pretty far in the middle. But you're right. I mean, it wouldn't be impossible for somebody to get there if they really wanted to.
I guess it's only a matter. Well, yeah, I mean, they could definitely get there before security gets to them. So, yeah.
I would imagine if that's a problem that they would probably have somebody from security nearby. But I think these are super cool. I'm glad that they're going back to some of the retro Epcot stuff. And I know, Damon, you as a big Epcot fan probably.
I love me Epcot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you like all the retro stuff that they're going back to. Like
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, well, because I know you're like you're the type of person that doesn't like want them to change anything ever, right? So
Exactly.
So this is good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel this is like them undoing the changes that they made back in the 90s.
Yeah, kind of.
So
kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
It's nice to see stuff like this still happening, with all the stuff that they've put on pause or canceled or, we don't know if all the stuff that's happening at Epcot, what is still happening and what's still not, what's not going to happen or any of that. We really don't know at this point. So it's kind of nice to see some progress on that whole entrance, Yeah. I almost forgot now that they removed all of the tombstones from the front there too. Like it almost seems like those were never there in my brain. And I also haven't been back since they removed them. So, I just kind of almost forgot for a second that it's all planters and, and the whole entrance is completely different now.
Yeah. I know that some people, people had their pictures on those tombstones and stuff. It's just, I never liked them to begin with. So
I feel like picture's a charitable thing to call that, because if you walked up to those things and looked at them, there's no way you're discerning a human being from that.
they were like
I don't know about
1990s digital pictures. So like, 16
they
by
were
16
still
pixels.
Discernible though, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always looked at them. I'm like, that just looks odd. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You never played with like digital cameras back in the 90s, did you?
I mean, I did. I think I had my first digital camera was like 2001, maybe. It weighed like a ton, and I think it was like 8 megapixels or something.
Yeah, you see, by then you got a reasonably good picture out of them. There was a point where, they were
I had
not.
that Sony with the floppy disk. It was like big, like a floppy disk. That thing was like probably one of the best cameras at the time. Though I love that thing.
Yeah, I remember
Floppy
those.
disk.
I worked at a computer store, and I wanted to. I almost bought one of those, but then I ended up buying a cell phone.
That's funny. I mean, I guess it's appropriate to talk about late, 90s when we're talking about Epcot, because a lot of people feel like Epcot has been stuck in the 90s for a while, and that's why they're doing all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, cool. Well, I was so psyched when I saw this. There's a video floating around. If you guys haven't seen this yet, I think I posted the video to our Facebook page. You can see a video of behind the scenes of them like putting them into place and everything. And apparently they are going to do like an official reveal of this later this year. So I'm sure there'll be some sort of event that they're going to do for that. So that should be really cool once that does happen. But if you haven't seen them yet, go check them out, especially if you're like an Epcot fan. So
yeah, I look forward to seeing the finished result with everything redone.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing them, in person. It's one thing to see them here, but I mean, they don't look that big here. And what did I say? They were 16 feet tall.
True.
I mean, that's pretty cool when you walk up to something like that and it's that big, and you don't realize how big things are. It was kind of like there was like this with the Skyliner, where you were looking at the picture of the Skyliner and it was like, wow, those gondolas look pretty small, and then you get there and you see them and you're like, oh man, this thing's huge, like way bigger than you thought it was, and that's always how these things go, right? So, do you want to bring up this next one? I didn't even know this was a thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so I guess, Disney World resort hotels are no longer offering late checkout until further notice, which, you're right, I didn't know
I used to use that all the time. I love late checkout.
Well, geez,
but I get it.
I wish I had known this, because what we would always do is check out and then go sit in the lobby for a couple hours until our Magical Express showed up. So if I knew I could check out later...
We tended to not do it that often because we would want to leave early in terms of driving, because we've always driven. But yeah, we've done it a few times. I think, with the extended cleaning they have to do, it makes sense. I get it. There's no way you could have late checkout and then regular time check-in, just with the cleaning involved.
Yeah, exactly. Like they do need a certain amount of time for things to sit and sanitize and all that. So yeah, it makes sense. But, like you said, Damon, I wish I knew that this... Or sorry, Tom said this. I wish I knew this was an option, because I would have actually used this.
Well, I probably wouldn't have used it, but I just didn't even know it was a thing. I just would never even think to ask for that. And I guess you could get as late as 2:00 sometimes, or you could request, a little bit later based on availability. But I honestly never knew that was a thing. I just would have never thought to ask. And I guess for me, we always drive, and so we would pack up the car on our last day and then go to the parks, and then when we were done, we'd just hop in the car and leave. So we didn't really need our room, for anything. But if for you, Trevor, it makes a lot of sense because you guys are flying out, right? So, it probably would be nice to get yourself together before your flight or whatever else you need to do. But
yeah, like I said, what our routine usually is that we pack up and get out of the room by 11, and then we're sitting down in the lobby with all of our luggage waiting for the bus to show up. So yeah, I know like I know I could drop off my stuff at Bell Services and everything, but then that's like an extra, like that's more hassle that I have to go through. So it would have been nice if we could have just had the room a little bit longer, and then when it was closer to the time we were supposed to go, we just, take everything from the room and go straight to the bus stop.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and like you guys said, I mean, it makes total sense why they're not allowing this right now, right? They're trying to do extra sanitation. They're trying to do extra cleaning. It totally makes sense why they wouldn't do that. So I get it. I mean, and the resorts aren't full anyway, but, at the same time, they don't have all their staff back either, probably. So it's it makes total sense, and I'm sure things will continue to change as as things in the world change, right? So as things get more back to normal, then maybe that'll change again. But I don't feel like it's like an official Disney policy though, right? It seems more like an exception kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean obviously they didn't advertise it very well, so.
Exactly. Well, they probably don't want to advertise it, right? So
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Anything else about this? We'll move on.
No.
All right. Cool. So another thing that is a sign of things that are good to come here. Some of the performers that previously had been, I don't want to say at this point furloughed, but they were one of the unions that represents the actors, essentially. So all the people that do the stage shows and like Indiana Jones and Finding Nemo and Beauty and the Beast, all that kind of stuff. Those performers were under one union, and that union was not in agreement with Disney about going back to work yet. And so they just finally came to an agreement now after like a month or two of going back and forth here. So now, and you actually, there was some impact to the parks on this because there's all sorts of things in their contract where they can't, Disney can't put on like certain shows that require like complex choreography and stuff like that without these union workers. So like the Beauty and the Beast show, they had changed it to like a musical show of some sort where they were just playing music and had some characters on stage, I guess. And like they changed that Disney Junior show to be something different too, because they didn't have the people from this union able to work. So this is a good thing. This is good. These performers are now coming back, and we'll start to see some of the regular shows coming back.
Yeah, I feel that's a sign of not returning to normalcy, but on the right path. And yeah, I'm glad that they found a way to make this work so that they can get these people back in the parks, and we can start. The shows aren't mandatory, but it's nice to, see some of these things happening again.
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think it's good. I think, those things we always like to go to the shows, even things like that you wouldn't think of, like the bird show at Animal Kingdom was something that they had to modify. And, the Indiana Jones show, that was something that, all of those people that are in those shows are all represented by this union. So no, it's a good thing. I'm glad to see these folks coming back to work too, because I know there was also some of the people that belonged to this union that were rebelling against the union that wanted to come back to work. So there was a lot of things on the internet about that, but seems like they finally came to a amicable agreement. So that's good news. Did you guys see this lightning bolt that struck Galaxy's Edge? Did you guys see that video?
I didn't watch the video. I heard about it though.
Yeah, the video is kind of crazy. It's only like a 2-second video, but man, it was kind of crazy. And of course, there was a lot of jokes about it. There was a lot of funny things here, like the Emperor Palpatine thing was.
Yeah, it's fitting.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's easy joke to make, right? Yeah. So the interesting thing about this, though, is Rise of the Resistance was closed the next day. Apparently, there was something with some blown electrical equipment because this bolt of lightning hit, which, Disney's got like, I don't know if everybody knows this, that Disney has hidden lightning rods like everywhere in the parks. You can see them if you look for them, but there's hidden lightning rods all over the parks. So it probably hit one of their lightning rods, but still, it can still screw stuff up.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watch Tim Tracker or not, but I think it was like last week or the week before he was in Magic Kingdom, and similarly the castle got struck by lightning and he got it on video. And so yeah, it's a pretty common thing that happens. It's just I guess I'm surprised that Rise of the Resistance was closed. It sounds like they weren't or they thought they had things figured out for grounding, but obviously not.
Well, yeah, it struck pretty close to it, too. Apparently, I think I'd read, too, that Muppets was down that day, too. So maybe it hit just some electrical equipment or something that, powers the rides in that area or something. I don't know.
What do you think we're going to get with Muppets now that the show that's not all that great is on? It's okay. It's okay.
Like the show.
I like it, but it's getting... You know what it was, is that I liked it when it was like I watched 3, and now I'm like,
The format is interesting, but not,
sustainable, I feel.
Yeah. It kind of falls into the same tropes, I noticed.
Yeah, like the first 3, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I love the Muppets. And then I'm like,
They can do more with it, I feel like. I feel like there's a good base there that they can build off of, but I feel like they need to have more variety.
I just hope that means we're going to get something back in the parks bigger and better. I would like to see that. I like the show, but maybe update it.
Yeah.
We talk about Disney properties underrepresented in the parks. I feel like Muppets is one of those, even though they have
I don't know if it's underrepresented. I think it's
It's kind of just done its own thing.
Yeah, it's just not up to date. Like, I don't know. I'm underrepresented. I just don't know if that's the correct term. Underwhelming might be the term.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could have a whole land. They could have a whole Muppet-themed land that would be pretty cool. But it's very small. It's just the one ride and the one shop.
Yeah, a land would be pretty good. I'd still want Gravity Falls Land or Amphibia Land. Dude, I feel like Amphibia would be like the perfect land at this point. Nix that whole crap storm of Avatar and, make that Amphibia Land.
What?
I could be on board with that.
I mean, even if you don't like the rides in Pandora, like at least the land is amazing.
The food is pretty good.
Yeah.
The food's pretty good.
The scenery, the floating rocks are amazing. No?
It's okay. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I think that the problem is that it's so carved out that it doesn't feel like a full land. It feels like an afterthought. I feel like I understand that there's a lot of money involved building that, but if it was twice the size, it would be 10 times as good.
Well, just at that size, it took them, what was it, 5 years, 6 years to get that done?
Yep.
It took forever to get that done. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's still a pretty nice sized land, but
I don't know if I would agree with that.
You don't think it's a nice size? I think it's
I think it's way too small.
Really? I think it's
and I just think
over 10 acres, I think.
The way that it's set up is like, it's like a sliver. You know, when you go to like look at a piece of land when you're going to buy a house, like you'd rather a square than a sliver. I feel like it's a sliver. That's just the way I feel about that land.
Because like you walk in straight and then you kind of take a right. Oh well, yeah, that's because you hate flight of passage.
No. I just feel like when you walk in and you make that left just right into the land itself, right? I feel like it's not wide. It's just deep. And in terms of being deep but not wide, it just makes it feel smaller. It's the difference between the Outer Banks and Hilton Head. Right? When you talk about straight up size,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just that when I can see from one side of Outer Banks to the other side, I can see both sides of the ocean. It doesn't feel as big.
I get what you're saying.
And that's what I feel like exactly. It's the Outer Banks of Disney. That's what it is.
All right. That's an interesting way to put it that I hadn't thought of.
So this was a fun tangent because we started off in Hollywood Studios and went to Magic Kingdom and then Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. Just all over the place. Yeah. Well, how about this next thing? I don't know if one of you guys wants to.
It's interesting. So the new Baby Yoda photo pass magic shot at Disney Hollywood Studios makes you feel like a Mandalorian. I shouldn't even have read that last part. That makes me feel.
Don't tell me how to feel.
Yeah, don't tell me how to feel.
It's basically Baby Yoda in its little floating crib.
But it's a magic shot. Like, why can't I get a real Baby Yoda?
Well, I'm sure that takes a little bit longer to do, right? I mean, that takes a little longer.
But they have, here's the thing. They have pretty good The Child toys as it is. You're telling me Disney can't do something better than that as a photo pass? I don't know. That's
we get BB-8. Why can we not get Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's completely. I mean, they did this with Baby Groot, and they did it with BB-8, like you said. So I don't think it's off the table. I think they will do that at some point. I don't think there's a chance they won't have.
And I don't want this. I want to be amazed when that happens.
Yeah,
I get it. This is the shortcut for now, though.
Yeah, this is filling a gap. Is what
I
this
don't
is
like
doing.
that.
Yeah,
don't give me shortcuts.
I would still want this. You don't want a picture with Baby Yoda, even
because what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with that picture? See, listen. Even if you're gonna put up pictures in your house at Disney, which is great. Actually, I'm in the midst of a interesting project with some Disney pictures, but I don't think people are putting up that many magic shot pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's the picture. Like, you look at it, you go, oh, that's kind of cool, and that's it. Then never to be seen again. I don't know. So what I'm doing, I have to talk about a picture. Now I got a tangent away from this.
Tangent away.
So my wife had asked, we're putting together, my parents are finally moved out into their part of the house, and we're putting together that spare bedroom, and it's going to be, our Disney room. It's not going to be crazy Disney, but there's, we have a Winnie the Pooh cell, and we have, I don't know, another picture anyway, but we're putting them up, and my wife was like, oh, well, it'd be nice if we had a picture of the kids from Disney, you know, canvas, maybe like a 12 by 12, 18. No, I think she said 18 by 18 picture of the kids. So what I'm doing is though, I said, oh, that sounds cool. But what if they were all the same age? So now I'm going back and making sure, you know, my daughter's only 10. So I have a 9-year-old picture of the three of them so that they're all the same age, at least when I put it up, rather than taking the picture, you know, 9, you know, gosh, I don't even know the difference in age now. 9, I guess it would be 13 and then 15. Instead of doing that, I'm just doing 9, 9, and 9. That's my tangent. There we go.
Oh, that's my tangent. There we go. I like the idea of a Disney room. I've been meaning to change my office into a Disney room, and I just haven't gotten to do that yet. I have all those posters that I bought back in October. You know, remember I told you guys I bought all those attraction posters
when they're just sitting around doing nothing.
They're still not framed yet, so they're just sitting in the tube. I haven't even taken them out because I don't even want to take them out. I just want to get them framed, and then I have, and it's funny because Trevor, you'll probably appreciate this more. I have, let's see, probably 20 architectural tubes filled with exclusive like posters and things from New York Comic Con and Toy Fair. Mm-hmm. So some of the things I have, it's, and again, I just don't know where to put them in my house. It's so difficult. Is I have a lot of posters for games that never made it out. Remember that Kurt Schilling game, the MMO that was supposed to come out and then the company all folded? Well, anyway, they had posters and they signed them right while they were there. Oh, yeah. And I have stuff like that. And it's the same thing, Tom. It's like, you know, they're just sitting in these architectural things. I felt like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have this house. I'm going to put up like 20 of them. And there's nowhere to put anything. There's never anywhere to put anything, especially newer houses, because the open floor plan does not lend itself to walls. See, my problem is more just I have plenty of wall space. I just don't want to spend the money that it costs to frame all this stuff because it's, you know, it costs a lot of money to frame stuff.
You know, I ended up doing a lot of this stuff just online, getting frames online that fit and then just doing it myself. You know, just if they're matted frames, I mean, how hard is it? Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, what do you need to do?
I'd rather have it done by a professional.
He's lazy. That's all it comes down
to.
No,
it's not. It has nothing to do with lazy. I just want, I spent some money on these posters and I want them to look nice in a frame. It has nothing to do with being lazy. I just want to get them professionally done as opposed to however I would do them.
Can you tell me what the difference is though?
I don't know. I mean, I have stuff that I frame myself that, you know, looks all right, but the stuff I've had professionally done looks way better. It just looks nicer.
For the poster, my attraction posters, which are framed and hung on the wall, we had, so you can get different borders done for them. And that was part of why we did it, is that the accent borders actually work with the posters. So
exactly.
But to your point, Damon, I could have done it myself. It's just, they were given to me as a gift, and part of it was the framing of them.
It's okay. You know what? We'll be on episode 149 and they still won't be framed, and that will be fine.
Mine are all in my stairwell and I look at them every day.
I'm going to get them done sometime soon here. So it needs to get done.
Also, so side note to what you were saying, Damon, about the gaming posters, I actually have I have a Mario Kart 8 poster signed by the voice of Mario, Charles Martinet. And it's been sitting in my basement. My best friend got it for me. And same thing, I still don't know what to do with it. So,
you know what I wanted to do is I wanted to do like a YouTube video of every single poster I have, like as kind of
just to prove or document
no,
it.
just because it would be kind of cool, I think. Yeah. But, you know, just like a time lapse of each poster, you know, get it up on an easel or something like that, you know, and then video and then do the next one. But, you know, that seems like a rather long project.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk about this, though, before we hit we're getting close to an hour number, right?
Yeah, we are. That's true. Yes. So this is I'm going to classify this as a rumor only because Disney has not necessarily confirmed this. But there's a book that's coming out. It's actually not out yet, but there's a book about the Disney monorail coming out that says it's called Imagineering a Highway in the Sky. And on the last page of it, on the very last page, there's speaking of attraction posters, there's an attraction poster on the very last page, and it says next stop play, meaning like the play pavilion. And then it says monorail Mark 10 arriving Epcot 2021. So this is not necessarily something they announced for the Play Pavilion, but there's apparently now a monorail attraction of some sort coming to the Play Pavilion in Epcot.
I don't think money-wise it's going to happen. Sorry, everybody.
I understand why you'd say that, but they have been showing that they're doing work on that pavilion. So there's been construction workers there. So I don't know.
It would be awesome.
Some of it is maybe it's gonna get scaled back. But
that'd be cool.
I feel that what they're gonna do is it's gonna be kind of like a promo for the next gen monorails coming, like the proper monorails. I feel that it's just going to be like basically an advertisement for them that they'll put in the Play Pavilion.
Well, but isn't everything in the Play Pavilion like it's like a interactive game, right? So like what? I don't know.
So
what
it'll
kind
be
of
a
game
little.
you'd have with
Well,
this,
you know how you get like those wooden trains on the track, and you kids just push them around the track. That's interactive.
That is true.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be physical things in this, right? I'm assuming this is going to be all digital stuff, right? It's going to be all video game type.
I can virtually ride the monorail, which is right outside the Play Pavilion.
I do wonder what kind of attraction you can have with the monorail. But I mean, listen, I'm excited because I'm a monorail fan, but I don't know what they're doing.
Monorail needs to be like the Harry Potter train. That would be awesome.
What, where it has like the windows that
that
that have
cool.
stuff happening on the outside?
Yeah, that would be actually kind of neat. And I don't think it would be that hard to do.
Yeah, they could easily do like or not easily, but they could do like an augmented reality thing where like Tinkerbell shows up as you drive by Magic Kingdom or something like that.
They've done some patents for like stuff like that recently. I feel like we went through some patents on the show of technology like that, where they can easily like have like stuff show up on the windows of vehicles. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That's a neat idea.
Yeah. Well. Again, I'm suspecting it's just going to be an advertisement for the next gen monorails, which is fine. But
yeah.
All
right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
All right.
We hit all of our topics. Look at that, perfectly paced. We're getting good at this thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I guess I'll wrap us up. If you guys want to send us any emails, like how Sara sent us that great trip summary and all of her learnings, you can email us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. We love seeing that kind of stuff. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. Same on YouTube. You can find Welcome Home Podcast. Like the pages, follow, share it. There's also the Welcome Home Disney Waitlist is the name of our Facebook group. If you're not in the group, you should join the group because we have some great conversations in there, and I think we built a pretty cool community of people that love Disney. And
that's where all the listener questions come from too. So
exactly.
If you want to ask us a question, that's a good place to do it, and that's the place we interact with everybody on that page. So when you post stuff, you're always hearing from one of us at some point.
Yeah. And if you wanted to get some Welcome Home merch, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and pick up a mug, pick up a shirt, and even a mask if you're needing masks at this point. And
exactly.
And as usual, if you found us on iTunes or Spotify or any of those other services, if you can leave us a review, please do so. We love getting those reviews, and they also help us share the podcast out so more people can see it.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any place you can find podcasts. You can find us. Just search for what's the name of our show again, Trevor?
Welcome Home.
Just search. Just search for Welcome Home and look for the one that says Disney and DVC. just completely forgot the name of the podcast for a second there. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We're not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, any and all opinions we express on this show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you, as always, to DVC Resale Market for sponsoring this episode. Go and check them out, please, if you're looking to buy or sell a DVC contract. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
We do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.